The Outcast Trail. The Sierra Nevada loomed vast and unyielding as Quinn tightened his frostbitten fingers around the iron shackles they'd soared through just hours before. Dove trudged behind him, her thin boots barely holding against the snow, her breath forming clouds that dissolved into the unforgiving air. Finn, the group's most volatile member, carried the stolen rifle, his sharp eyes scanning the horizon for both predators and pursuers. The sun dipped below the jagged peaks, painting the sky in hues of fire and blood as the prisoners stumbled deeper into the wilderness. "We head west," Quinn said, his voice low but firm, though every glance back made him wonder if Finn would betray them. Night brought biting winds that tore through their ragged clothes, forcing them to huddle under a fallen tree for meager shelter. Dove handed Quinn a handful of frozen berries she'd foraged, her quiet resilience a stark contrast to Finn's simmering hostility. The first storm hit hard, burying their trail and complicating the pursuit, but it also threatened to entomb them in ice. Finn cursed as his fingers numbed on the rifle's barrel, and Quinn's patience thinned with every muttered complaint. Dove, despite her slight frame, took point in the morning, leading them through drifts that swallowed her knees. Hunger gnawed at them all as the meager rations they'd stolen from the chain gang guards dwindled to nothing. Quinn spotted a rabbit darting through the snow and managed a clean shot, a rare victory that drew a reluctant grin from Dove. Finn sneered as he tore into his share, accusing Quinn of wasting their chances by not aiming for something bigger. That night, Dove confided in Quinn about her wrongful conviction, her voice trembling as frost settled in her auburn hair. Finn listened from the shadows, his expression inscrutable, though his hands never strayed far from the rifle. Their march slowed as Dove twisted her ankle on a hidden rock, forcing the group to confront their vulnerability. Quinn rigged a crude splint from tree branches, his practical leadership keeping tempers from fraying further. Finn muttered that leaving Dove behind would be smarter, his cold pragmatism igniting fury in Quinn. Despite their friction, the trio pressed on, driven by the promise of freedom that lay just beyond the mountain range. A frozen river blocked their path, its glassy surface promising both salvation and potential disaster. Quinn crossed first, his steps cautious as the ice groaned beneath his boots, the rifle slung over his shoulder. Dove followed, her limp hindering her progress, but Finn's steady hand surprised her when the ice cracked. Quinn eyed the outlaw with suspicion, uncertain if Finn's gesture was kindness or calculation for future leverage. The sound of baying hounds echoed behind them, pushing the group into a frantic sprint despite their exhaustion. Finn suggested splitting up to confuse the trackers, but Quinn refused, unwilling to leave anyone behind. Dove's injury slowed them again, and Finn's frustration boiled over into a heated argument with Quinn. The shouting drew the trackers closer, forcing them to abandon the argument and double their pace. When they reached a cave hidden by a rocky outcrop, Quinn decided it was their best chance to wait out the pursuers. The cave offered scant warmth, but it shielded them from the wind and the ominous howls of the bloodhounds. Dove took the rifle during her watch, surprising Quinn with her steady aim despite her inexperience. A tracker wandered too close to their hiding spot, and Finn restrained Dove from taking a risky shot. Quinn muffled their argument, his heart pounding as the man's boots crunched dangerously close to the cave's entrance. The tracker moved on, leaving the group to exhale in unison, their survival balanced on a razor's edge. Hunger struck again, and Finn risked venturing out at dawn to lay snares for whatever game might wander past. The snares caught a fox, and Finn's return with the scrawny prize briefly silenced the tensions among them. Quinn and Dove shared quiet conversation over the meager meal, their bond strengthening as Finn watched with a frown. The storm worsened, forcing them to stay put, and old wounds began surfacing in their fractured group. Finn revealed his past as an outlaw, though his tone carried no regret, only the weight of survival. Dove countered with her story of false imprisonment, her voice steelier this time, refusing to be seen as weak. Quinn remained silent, his own secrets buried too deeply to risk sharing them in the firelight. When the storm cleared, they emerged into a glittering, frost-bitten world, the snow blinding in its brightness. A broken trail led them to an abandoned cabin, its cracked walls offering scant protection from the elements. Inside, they found a map pinned to a wall, marking a path to the border that set their hearts pounding with hope. Finn pocketed the map while Quinn wasn't looking, though Dove noticed, her lips tightening in suspicion. Tensions peaked when Dove confronted Finn, the rifle between them a symbol of trust ready to shatter. Quinn intervened, mediating with a calm born of necessity, though he kept a wary eye on Finn. The journey grew grueling as they neared the border, the terrain punishing and their supplies gone. Dove collapsed from exhaustion, forcing Quinn to carry her despite his own weakening strength. Finn scouted ahead, his absence stretching longer each time, until they feared he'd abandoned them. At the edge of the range, Finn returned with a stolen horse, his face a mix of triumph and defiance. The group argued over the horse, knowing it couldn't carry them all, but Quinn ultimately made the call. Finn betrayed them, taking the horse and the map, leaving Quinn and Dove stranded in the icy wilderness. Determined, Quinn fashioned a sled from branches to drag Dove, her spirit faltering but not extinguished. They reached the border days later, finding a solitary guard post where Finn had already crossed. Dove begged Quinn to go, but he refused to leave her behind, his loyalty unshaken despite their losses. A passing caravan smuggled Dove to safety, while Quinn stayed behind, his fate intertwined with the mountains. Finn disappeared into the west, his future uncertain, while Dove carried Quinn's lessons into her new life. Quinn gazed at the peaks one last time, his breath misting as he turned toward an unseen horizon, seeking redemption. The mountains remained silent witnesses as the sun set, the trails of the outcasts fading into legend.